Sean, tell us about some of the challenges that you guys have been, what are some of the challenges that you've noticed with the mining space, with your time in the industry so far?
Yeah, great question. I won't belabor the point, but for the folks that haven't seen any of the other podcasts before, the reason why this man Bigfoot sits behind me is, as we've talked before, it's always about the unseen risk. So to your point, Mike, it's great to come up with a model and to be able to build this vision and engineer a fund and say, okay, this all looks good, but we all know that's just a model. So now what happens when you go to practicality? So to your point, what are the challenges once you start running this business? Can you actually deliver on what you said? And thankfully, because of my risk mitigation mind and always being Debbie Downer and thinking about the worst possible scenarios, when we last spoke, we talked about the model and we talked about, well, where's that kind of break even point, Sean? Obviously it's not guaranteed. You're fairly certain you can hit that 15% on note one, and it's based on the math. It's just a math equation, just like bond math is. But the practicality of it is, does it work? And I'm happy to say, not that I'm happy where hash rates are, since most of us in the Bitcoin world talked about historical lows and that historical support level being around the $60 hash price. As we know now, as we fast forwarded through halving, my gosh, we've been challenged. The hash price has gotten as low as 38 and high change, 39. Nobody ever thought it would be there. It's dipped below 60 before, but to put it in perspective for folks that don't follow this on a regular basis, we have dropped about 33% below that historical low that we used to engineer this model prior. Here's the cool thing about that. Is the model is no longer just a theoretical model. It's been tested, it's been taxed, and it's actually worked. So, for the past 6 months or so, I think we're on their sixth distribution or so. Our folks that are in note number one, 15% returns, they don't care where the hash price is. They get their returns every single month like clockwork. We've not missed a distribution. We're not in jeopardy of missing a distribution, which has showed us that as much as we built this model for what we call Bitcoin winter and the 60 lows, we've now been taxed and we know where the model stands before you kind of have that area where you're like, okay, we're in trouble now. And we've talked about this in the past one is, there's no secret sauce to mining since it's a math equation. The biggest thing you have to worry about as a miner is what's your cost of power and what's your overall cost. And as the two of you know, when we talked before, that was by design. We wanted to make this a streamlined operation and keep the expenses as low as possible because all we're trying to do is throw off US dollar cash flow to our clients. We don't need a big $30 million facility to house all of our miners and make it look nice and pretty. We need to be able to keep our expenses low for these reasons. When you're in this part of the cycle and it does throw a curveball at you and you're lower than you thought you would be, my gosh, you just wipe your brow and you say, wow, the model's still working. And it's actually working well to the point where it's doing better than we thought on the downside. So we're optimistic about that. We still want hash prices to go up, obviously, but we're very optimistic that now that we're in the reality of it, it's actually working and we're in the downside of it and it's working. We're really looking forward to when hash prices start to spike here in this parabolic phase of the Bitcoin mining side of things and Bitcoin price appreciation as well, that it's going to get fun for our folks that are in note two and our folks that are in note one. Hey, we're doing exactly what we said we were going to do for you.